What's up guys, Ben here bringing you another video today. I want to talk about a part of Rostermania that's a little bit less talked about, but is super important and it's actually super active right now. There's a little bit of a coach shuffle going on in the CDL and there's some big news that broke in the last 24 to 48 hours. I want to talk about it, break it down and what it means for some of these changes going on for some of these coach locations. Let's dive in. All right, so the big news that broke in the last couple of days is Sam Phoenix, who's the coach of Seattle Surge, is returning to coach the team for next season. There were a lot of rumors that he may be departing the team. A team is linked to a bunch was the Toronto Ultra, and obviously he had a lot of success last season, leading to a good place at champs and obviously an event win. So I'm happy that Seattle is running it back, but there are some repercussions here to some of the moves that were being planned in the background. The next biggest domino to fall is, of course, the LAG situation. As you may recall, both Bevels and Ricky are no longer coaching the team, with Bevels leaving the organization and Ricky moving to a management role. From what I was hearing prior to obviously the Sam Phoenix news, MarkyB and Flux were linked pretty heavily to this spot in terms of who LAG were looking at as a priority option. Now, obviously those are rumors. Obviously they can be looking at different candidates, but they were sort of the top of the list from my understanding, talking to sources around the league. But I think that was a lot with the assumption that Sam Phoenix may be going to Toronto. But now with Sam Phoenix staying, that makes this situation with MarkyB a little bit more interesting. Can really see this going down in one of two ways. I think at this moment now, I could definitely see MarkyB and Flux staying if there are no better options out there, at least in the eyes of Toronto, or Mark will still leave, and then Toronto, who obviously just announced their new team, will still then be looking for a head coach. I think this is the biggest kind of domino to fall, so I'm going to keep my eyes and ears peeled to see what happens on this one over the next couple of days. But a lot of moves are kind of repercussions of whatever Mark and Toronto decide on what they want to do. So the next team kind of domino is the New York situation. As you guys probably know, New York's obviously making changes to their roster, and while they haven't announced Hydra, Skies, Priesta, and Kismet, there's also a question about whether or not D-Real will be returning to coach the team. Obviously, Revin and JP are no longer there, and we'll get to their situation in a minute. I could definitely see this being a destination. Obviously, if MarkyB does not end up going to LAG, Troy Center to me probably stands out as a top 10 candidates out there. I know there are obviously other coaches out there, and that's no disrespect to them, but I think that Troy Center probably is the most experienced at the top level from some of those potential options. And obviously the Detroit situation, he's trying to get on a team to be a head coach. Obviously he's been with the Optic and sort of Hex Quarters camp for a minute, but with, it seems like Rambo holding down the main spot there, he's probably looking for bigger opportunities. So we'll keep my ears posted on that one. Again, nothing concrete yet on what New York wants to do. I think they're taking their sweet time. So it's sort of the cascade on that, right? If Troy goes to New York, MarkyB goes to Toronto, obviously then you have a vacancy in Toronto, and that will be interesting. They could obviously promote a Mayhem from their tactical coach. They could bring in someone like Parasite in to supplement their coaching staff. I think then the other kind of interesting domino that's sort of out there and sort of unresolved is where JP from New York will go. JP is much sought after as an analyst, also as a tactical coach. His name has been linked a lot to Optic, but I think there are a lot of potential teams bidding for his services. So I don't know how fast that situation will resolve itself, but I think JP is going to get the bag in the offseason, and whatever team gets him is going to benefit very highly. I'm a big fan of JP and the work that he does. I think he's very smart. He's obviously very data focused and a benefit to any team that does pick him up. The final kind of coaching domino, and I think this one is basically kind of resolved. That's why I sort of waited to the end on this one, is whatever's happening with Crowder over at Atlanta FaZe. So there were a lot of rumors, obviously, in the last few weeks, not helped by Crowder kind of saying on stream that he wasn't returning to coach, but it was more like someone asked him a question and he said no in passing. From my understanding, the sources around the team, he is returning. He is going to be involved. Obviously, you see here sort of the banter conversation from a few weeks ago between owner of Atlanta Esports Ventures, Paul Hamilton. Obviously, that's the parent company of Atlanta FaZe and Atlanta Reign, which is the Overwatch team. But yeah, Chris is returning. I don't know sort of what the sort of arrangement is with him from a coaching aspect in terms of how they're going to manage practice. But again, Chris is such an asset to that team. He's so good at the man management piece. I think this team and the players and the coaching staff are all going to do their best. If Chris wants to do more content creation, I think they're all going to figure out how to make it work. And once again, he'll be returning, I think, to be coaching the squad from what I've heard. So that's it, guys. I think kind of just to summarize, again, MarkyB sort of the next domino to fall here in terms of how it cascades to the open spots potentially in Toronto, New York potentially. Obviously, Optics looking potentially for a second coach if Troy Center leaves to one of those jobs. And the Atlanta FaZe situation seems resolved, so no opening there. So we'll see how things cascade. LAG and MarkyB kind of in that boat on what happens there. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Where do you think some of these coaches should go for your favorite team? Are you looking for a coaching change? Who would you like to bring in? Let me know in the comments what you think. Obviously, like this video, smash that like button. We'll be pumping out a lot of content for you guys in the coming weeks, so make sure you're subscribing, and we will see you guys on the next one.